Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Nier Replicant. So last time we were helping out the people in the desert village, and I can never remember the name of the desert village, but we helped them out. Thank you for telling me that updated. That's thrown me off what I was saying. We were helping the people in the desert village, and now we have to go and speak to Popola, and I don't remember why. I know we need to speak to Popola, but I don't know what we're talking to her about.
What's up, Popola?
Oh, hi. I just got a strange letter in the mail.
Dearest Popola, I hope this letter finds you well. I am writing in hopes of bringing to your attention a certain dream issue of concern regarding recent events in the village. That sentence didn't make any sense. I was hoping I might be able to get your advice on the matter. Recently, there have been dream reports, dream of a certain dream of dream, evil dream, empty, blah 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 blah, lots of dream.
That is certainly one bizarre piece of writing.
It sure is.
Who's it from?
The mayor of a small village in the Forrest of Myth. It's a wooded area up north.
The Forrest of Myth?
They're usually a bright and cheerful group of people. Something like this is very out of character for them. I have a bad feeling about this.
I'll check it out.
You will? But...
Don't worry about it. I've got business there anyway.
Oh, well, alright. Thank you.
That's what we needed to talk to her about. We needed to talk to her about the Forest of Myth. I'd forgotten about that bit. So we're going out north now. I'm ignoring the side quests for now. We can always do them later if we decide we want to. So glad that didn't hurt. I wonder what the Forest of Myth is going to be like. They're a lot closer than normal. Hey, did you kill this sheep? Who killed this sheep? Oh, we're going out over there, are we? Okay. Oh, she is with us. I thought Kaine had not come with us for some reason. Sorry. I didn't mean to hit the sheep then. I'm assuming I can't take them with me, so I'm just going to jump off now. Well, it looks very peaceful.
It sure is quiet here.
Such silence bodes ill. There's trouble on the way. I'm certain of it.
You know, a little optimism now and then wouldn't hurt, Vice.
Such cheek.
Why is there a door into the tree? Now Kaine's not with us. So this counts as a village. Okay.
Beware. Beware the words.
The words? What do you mean?
Contagious words. Those who dream.
Those who dream?
Hold a moment. There is a strange new sensation in my mind.
Vice's voice rose in a quizzical way.
It is not quizzical.
What's going on?
The villager's body shuddered as he slowly opened his eyes.
Perhaps we should start by asking this man.
Who are you?
We heard something happened to this village, so we came to see if we could help.
The mayor stared at Bob and Vice.
If you can speak to me, I must have caught you in my dream.
In your dream?
The mayor explained. In the past weeks, a mysterious disease called the Death Dream had spread across the Forest of Myth. Those who caught it were cursed to fall asleep and live forever within the world of their own dreams. The village mayor had determined the Death Dream was spread from person to person by spoken words, but before he could learn more, the disease took him as well. Vice stared at the mayor, his mouth twitching slightly.
Now see here. Are you saying that we have been absorbed into your dream?
Well, yes. I think you have.
In other words, we've caught the death dream?
Before the mayor could confirm Bob's suspicion, Vice exploded with rage.
Ridiculous. Preposterous. Completely unfathomable on every conceivable level. I don't even recall falling asleep.
That's just how the death dream works.
Though polite, the mayor was clearly trying to brush aside the book's remarks.
My remarks are not to be brushed aside, fool.
The mayor twisted his mouth into an embarrassed grimace, then quickly changed the subject to who Bob had seen and what they had discussed since coming to the village.
Something there must have caused you to enter my dream. A certain conversation, a specific word, something.
Bob and Vice racked their brains but could find no easy solution. There were simply too many words to consider, too much random chatter, too many meaningless conversations. I only remember having one with that dude.
Grimoire Vice does not engage in meaningless conversations.
The mayor's suggestion that Vice chose his words carelessly seemed to sting his pride.
It does not seem to sting my pride, you bloated gasbag of a narrator.
Hey, I'm just reading what comes up on the screen.
It has demolished it utterly.
Irritated, Vice looked skyward as if searching for answers in the heavens.
I was doing no such thing. Just leave me alone already.
The anger created by his harsh words bled over to Bob like a contagion. Wait, Bob said suddenly. Did someone just say contagion? Yes, I believe so. What of it? Well, that villager told us to watch for contagious words, right? The mayor leaned forward with renewed interest, pushing a startled Vice aside in the process. He must have said something, right? Asked the mayor. Some specific combination of words? What was it? It was about dreaming, or something that dreams, or... oh, what the hell was it? A sheep, cried Vice suddenly, blurting out the first thing that popped into his head. The others stared at him for a moment before slowly shaking their heads. After a few more minutes of thought, Bob's face suddenly lit up. I remember, he said, those who dream. That's what he said, I'm sure of it. At this, the mayor produced a thick sheaf of papers from his pocket. He flipped through them a few times before finally nodding his approval at Bob. That sounds right, he said, as a stray sheet of paper fluttered to the ground. My notes also mentioned something about that. I bet it was the last thing you heard before you fell asleep. The mayor shook his head, his warm pencil stub tracing lines across a lone piece of paper. For the last month, I've done nothing but study the disease we call the death dream, he said. I mean, I'm the mayor, right? It's my job to protect people from whatever comes along, but I never expected a couple of outsiders to start entering people's dreams. The mayor paused, a grimace crossing his face. I should probably be taking notes or something. Vice immediately fired back. I applaud the force of will it takes to research a disease in your dreams, he said, but perhaps you should bend your efforts to escaping this place instead of trying to understand it. The mayor's hand tightened around his pencil, snapping off the tip. I've tried to escape. From the very first moment I realised I was locked inside my own dream, I've been looking for a way out, but I don't think it exists. I mean, this is my dream, right? If there was an exit, I'd know about it. He paused for a moment, his unfocused eyes staring at nothing. My village was beautiful, he said to no one in particular, and it was filled with the most wonderful people you could hope to meet. But once this disease took hold, things changed. It's like someone took a sponge and soaked all the colour out of our lives. I just want us to be whole again. I want us to be free. And I won't stop trying until it happens. Bob nodded in agreement. Huh? Wait a second. I didn't nod. Look, if we can be of any help, said Bob, just ask. Now hold on, I did not just say that. Silence, cried Vice. The grimoire looked from Bob to the mayor and back again, his face filling with confidence. Grimoire Vice's face is always confident, thank you very much. Now you see here, Mayor, you told us that nothing can exist in this dream without your knowing of it. But yet you seemed surprised to see us when we first arrived, yes? The mayor slowly raised his head, realization dawning on his face. Oh my god, he said, you're right, I had no idea you were coming. The human imagination is a limitless engine, said Vice, and dreams are the fuel. If you can imagine an exit, then it must be so. With your permission, we shall search it out. Thank you, said the mayor. I don't know how I can repay you. Payment is not required. We are as eager as you to be done with this place. The mayor suddenly felt as if he could breathe again. He'd almost forgotten what it was like. Good luck, you two, he called at the departing forms of Bob and Vice. We're all counting on you. As Bob slowly faded into the misty forest, the mayor was struck by a sense of déjà vu. I saw this man once before, he thought, but where? Bob's mood darkened as he trudged through the forest. Hours earlier, when the beauty of the place was still a new thing, he'd been confident they could get in, find the exit, and be home in time for dinner. But the deeper they went, the more the forest closed in around them. The mist made it difficult to see more than a foot in any direction, and moss-covered rocks seemed determined to twist his ankle. More than once he'd been forced to steady himself on the rough bark of a tree, and his hands now left small trails of blood on everything he touched. Has this just turned into, like, a book? I thought I was playing a video game. What on earth is going on? Additionally, Vice was proving to be a spectacularly poor travelling companion, unhindered by either terrain or physical effort. He spent most of his time urging Bob to pick up the pace and grumbling about their slow progress. Finally, after Vice muttered something about legless turtles being more adept at navigating the environment, Bob snapped. Okay, Vice, cram it for a second, would you? You don't have to walk. Bob leaned against a tree and tried to stretch the knots from his back. How can this stupid forest be so big? He muttered to himself. The moment the words tumbled from his mouth, a cacophony of insects sprang to life. Every imaginable form of buzz, click and hiss roared out at a volume that rattled his teeth. Bob slapped his hands over his ears and screamed to be heard, "Vice, what's going on?" Bob could see Vice's mouth moving, but he might as well have been shouting at a tornado. The insects screamed, the forest howled. And then, just as Bob's ears seemed ready to tear from his head and go running for cover, the sound diminished. Hesitantly, he removed the hand from his left ear and listened to the creatures of the woods. Zree, 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 zree. They're making lots of different noises. Let's just blow past that. But as the insect symphony dimmed another decibel, Bob began to detect patterns in the sound. This isn't random, he thought. It's not just white noise. It's something else. The insects weren't just calling out, they were asking a question. One with it is lacking. 2 with it is ideal. 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? By my pages, this is a riddle. I guess so. I mean, it feels sort of forced, but maybe it's the key to getting out of this place. Then I leave it to you to answer. 1 with it is lacking, 2 with it is ideal, 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? I don't know. A secret seems to make sense. A seesaw doesn't make any sense. Does it? I suppose 3 on a seesaw would be dangerous. Something that's ideal with 2 people but dangerous with 3. Oh, it's a seesaw. Vice's mouth flew open, but before he could say anything, the world suddenly shifted. When Bob came to, he was once again surrounded by the sounds of insects. The cries of the insects were creating words he heard somewhere before. Okay. So that wasn't the answer? Okay. Let's go with a secret. Inwardly furious that Vice left the task to him, Bob sighed and gave the only answer that made sense. It's a secret. The sound of the insects suddenly stopped as suddenly as it began. The forest undergrowth passed before Bob like the rippling wave, opening a new path. The forest anthropods are making a road for us, said Vice with a glee. Pleased at passing the test, Bob moved on with new intensity. The path offered his body relief from the undergrowth, and gave even greater cheer to his mind. As long as they were on a path, their journey had a purpose. I guess the forest has accepted us, huh? Said Bob after a bit. Vice spun around to face his companion. Do not mistake the will of the forest with some happy pet you can suddenly befriend. We have no idea where this path leads. As Vice finished speaking, the pair turned a corner and found themselves facing a clear forest spring. Smiling, Bob picked up a small rock and sent it skipping across the surface of the water. Good heavens, said Vice. His surprise was understandable. Each time the rock struck the surface of the water, a musical note rang out. When the rock finally stopped moving and sank to the bottom of the spring, the ripples it left behind came together to form words. I enter through the window, but break no glass. When night falls I vanish. What am I? Absurdly easy, barked Vice. Now answer it. Bob grit his teeth and tried not to reach out and strangle his companion. He's right after all, this one is pretty easy. Well, I'm going to go with sunlight, because a bird would break the window, so with a letter it's got to be sunlight. A plume of water suddenly burst from the spring. Sunlight filtered through the trees and reflected off the plume, creating a shimmering rainbow that spanned the entire horizon. In all my years, said Vice softly, I have never seen such a sight. Perhaps I have misunderstood the intentions of this place. Hey look, cried Bob, awaking Vice from his daze. There's a house or something over there. Glancing in the direction of his friend's extended hand, Vice saw a small cottage nestled among the trees. That's weird, isn't it, Vice? I mean, who would build a house all the way out here? Bob walked over and pounded on the door. After a minute of solid banging, the door cracked open and a small man peered out. His body was cloaked from neck to toe in a large black cape, while his face was obscured by mist. Began Bob, but before he could get any further, the cloaked man held a hand up and began speaking. I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon, but end the night with 3. What am I? Bob tried to ask the cloaked man who he was and what he was doing here, but he simply repeated the question. If you wish to engage this man in conversation, said Vice, it seems we must answer his riddle. Yeah, I suppose, said Bob. Well, at least it's an easy one. Stop saying it's easy, it's going to be really embarrassing when I don't know what it is. Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to have to guess. I have an angel. As the words were spoken, Bob found himself covered in snow of perfect white feathers. A warm, gentle feeling ran up his spine as a creature of unimaginable beauty shimmered into existence. Bob found himself unable to hold back tears as the being's voice rang out. You are incorrect. Please make another choice. A man. The mist dissolved from the cloaked figure as he spoke a single word. Correct. How does a man have 4 legs? I don't get that. With that, the man flung his garment aside, revealing his true identity. You're the mayor, cried Bob. The small man slowly shook his head. I am not the mayor you know. Now listen to my words. Long ago, I saw a version of you that was not yourself. Sorry? What's that mean? It will make sense in time. At present, I simply congratulate you on cracking the seal of the death dream. Now you must go to the person at the forest entrance. With that, the man turned on his heel and slammed the door behind him. As Bob watched, mist seeped up from the ground and enveloped the cottage, erasing it from existence. When Bob and Vice returned to the forest entrance, they found the mayor leaning against a tree. As soon as he caught sight of the duo, he sprang to his feet and scrambled over to them. Good gravy, he cried. You made it. You actually made it back. His left hand grasped Bob's and pumped it so fiercely it threatened to dislodge from the socket, while his right seized Vice by the cover and swung him through the air. Gah, by the heavens, stop shaking me, fool. We have not even told you if we were successful or not. The mayor smiled broadly and shook his head. I'm just happy you're alive. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Bob withdrew himself from the mayor's eager handshake with a slight smile. We broke the death dream seal, he said. At least, I think we did. The mayor's face beamed as Bob filled him in on the details. When the tale was done, the three of them laid down on the forest ground and fell asleep. Bob cocked his head. Okay, hang on a second, this is crazy. Why would we just lay down and go to sleep? Cease your endless prattle and go to sleep, fool. Fighting against the rules of this place is futility itself. Bob and the mare obediently reclined atop the grassy earth. Have you forgotten, continued Vice? It is words that control the death dream, words that allow us to move from place to place. No matter how unnatural they seem, the words are absolute. Therefore, if the words tell us to sleep, then sleep we shall. And once we do, the story will continue. With that, the trio found their eyes growing heavy, their breath slowing. This is the first time, began the mayor, the first time I have felt tired since I was imprisoned here. His words were cut off by a loud, long yawn, and he remembered nothing more. They might have slept for an hour or a year. When they awoke, things had a slightly more real quality to them. The mist felt thicker, the leaves greener. It was clear that they had awakened from their dream. Bob shook the mare's shoulder gently. Good news, he said. I think we made it. Oh wow, said the mayor in an awed voice. We did. I'm back. He blinked once and then again, as if not quite believing the sight before him. You two have no idea how much this means. The death dream was spreading through our village, and I wanted to... Well, I thought I could figure out how to stop it, but I guess that wasn't the case. I must have caught the disease and become trapped in my own dream. The mayor started to stand, then collapsed back to the earth. He stared at his legs as if trying to remember how they worked, then glanced at Bob and shrugged. Without a word, the young man reached down and pulled the mayor to his feet. Real life may take some getting used to, said the mayor as the wry smile crossed his lips. You shall relearn in short order, I am sure, said Vice. For now you should return to your home and rest. No, said the mayor, swaying on unsteady feet. No, I can't. Some of the villagers are still trapped in the death dream. I have to save them. The mayor slowly made his way to the divine tree in the centre of the village, then bowed his head and prayed silently. This is a holy tree, he explained, when the prayer was finished. It's the guardian of our village's history and memories. Superstition will only make our mission harder, muttered Vice. We should not put our faith in the gods. The mayor shook his head. Not the gods, the words. Legend says that our tree is home to a powerful magic known as a sealed verse. Bob and Vice could not contain their surprise. It seemed a goal had been found in the most unexpected of places. I say, muttered Vice, this is certainly a stroke of luck. As the three of them said their goodbyes, Bob mentioned the strange man who had given them the third riddle and the mysterious words he had left with them. Or left them with. I once saw a version of you that was not yourself, muttered the mayor. What in the world does that mean? Lost in thought, he stared into space for a long moment. You know, he said softly, this is going to sound odd, but I had a feeling I'd seen you before too. Bob tried to keep a straight face and failed, but the mayor didn't seem to notice. Deja vu, right? I figure it's just some kind of illusion created by the death dream. It probably doesn't mean anything. Bob gave the mayor a nod and a smile, but inwardly his thoughts were racing. There's something wrong about the mayor and his words. And what exactly is going on here? That riddle would prove to be the most difficult one of all.
Oh, thank you so much. Now I can finally return to a normal life.
This is one of the most bizarre diseases I have ever encountered.
I know. That's why we have to help the other villagers, no matter what.
Obtained a sealed verse. Obtained dark execution magic. Dark Execution. Summon magical spikes from the ground to impale enemies. Cool.
For a sealed verse, that didn't take much effort.
Yes, all a touch too easy if you ask me. It's almost as if someone was guiding us to this village.
Don't overthink advice.
Well, before I do anything else, I'm gonna save it. Because my word, that was a lot of reading, that was a lot of text. And I don't want to do that again. So that's saved. Okay. So where to now? I don't have a map. Am I leaving again? I kind of want to get out of it before they make me read an entire book again. I'm not sure if there was more to do there or not, but I tell you what, I'm happy to be out of there.
So how was the village?
Terrible.
Oh, it was truly magnificent. There are no words. Really.
Neat.
Let's get back to Popola. She'll probably want to know what's going on in there.
I'm sure she will. I want to know what's going on in there too. Be quick enough to get back though, because we have our friend the boar. Ah, it does make short work of things. Ow. I hope Kaine didn't see that. That would be embarrassing for us. I didn't mean to charge the ball straight into a wall. But I mean, it got us where we were going, so I can't argue too much. So, to Popola. And let's see what she has to say about this whole Forrest of Myth fiasco. I wasn't expecting the game to suddenly turn into like a read your own adventure book.
The death dream certainly is a strange illness.
Yeah, it was something all right.
Even I, with my natural love for words, have no desire to visit that place ever again.
You guys did well. You've been making a lot of long trips lately. Are you sure you're not pushing yourself too hard?
I'm okay. I can't just sit around all day while Yonah's sick after all.
If you say so.
So, anything I can do for you?
Well, I suppose there is one thing I could use a hand with. Have you heard about our plans to repair the canal? The work probably won't happen for a while, but once it's done, we can use the canal for trade and travel and all kinds of useful things. Unfortunately, however, we're a bit behind schedule at the moment. If you're willing to help out, I'd really appreciate it.
No problem. What do you need?
Great. So, the man I originally asked to help on this project hasn't shown up for work in a few days. I'm starting to get a little worried. So maybe you can head over to Seafront and check up on him? I'll mark the location of his house on your map. He always carries a red bag over his shoulder, so he should be easy enough to find.
Got it.
Well, I suppose we're heading back to Seafront then. I'm glad I don't have to go back to the Forest of Myth. The Forest of Myth was a very strange little area. And like I say, I'm sure there's more to do there. I've just got no inclination to want to stay there and figure out what it is.
A canal, is it? Fascinating. If we had a ferry, we could put these days of endlessly running about behind us.
Don't you just float everywhere anyway?
Do you think I am borne aloft by the winds, lad? It takes stamina to maintain this height.
Oh, really?
You could at least try to hide the utter dismay, you know.
Well, he could, but he's not going to. So that was, this was an interesting time. The Forrest of Myth was very much not what I expected. I feel like I've been going for a long time and really not played a lot of the game because I've spent a lot of time just reading what was going on in the Forrest of Myth, which is a very strange one. But that's how this episode's going to end. Next time, we will head out over to Seafront and we will see about this man and repairing the canal. I'm not sure where that'll end up leading us. It's clearly going to be opening us up to the next area. So we will see what happens when we find the man at Seafront. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the like button below, let me know what you thought in the comments, and join us next time for the next one.